Hello and welcome to Thirsty Thursday. I'm Susan Diaz, and we're going to wait just a little second while we have Will Lamont join us so we can get started with the 4 p.m. report after show. Oh, look, we have a few people here. Kitchen Confession, Mitch and Stone, One Number Solution. Hi and welcome. Hi, Will.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
Good. Tired. It's
Me
Thursday.
too. Me too. I just went for a run, so I'm a little bit messy as well right now.
Well, I got ready for party, my friend. I've got sparklers, I've got things. We'll do all of the stuff. So how's everyone's day going? Drop a little note in here and say hi. Hi, Helen. Hi, Dion. Looking good, says Wendy. All right, so guys, we are here for a little thing that we've been doing the last couple of weeks called Thirsty Thursday. We have a podcast, which is where the moniker of our account comes from, the 4 a.m. report. We turn a year old this
Right.
week. We've been doing this for a year, right, Will?
Yep. 1 year. I feel like the extra gray has come in, just like, they say a president after the 4 years, you look at the before and after, and they're all gray. I feel like each gray here has been an episode. Yeah.
So true. Anyway, so we're particularly celebrating the fact that over this time we've made 52 or 53, 50 official episodes and a few specials. So
Yeah.
today we're going to spend, a few minutes celebrating ourselves. And then we'll talk a little bit about the episode itself, in which we talk about conversion, because there's a lot of questions we receive often about what online conversion takes. So we'll talk to you really quickly about that. And then we're going to go and chat about what's too thirsty this week in the digital world. You usually find people overdoing it on a few levels. And today we have 3 stories to share with you. So, tell people about the episode a little, and I'm going to light all our little candles and things.
Yeah, episode 50 came out 4 a.m. this morning. We actually, and as Susan said, it actually ended up being probably episode 52 because we inserted 49.5 and 49.75 last week just to talk about messaging during crisis and that sort of thing. But this episode, we talked about the way we called it the secret sauce to online conversions. And it really was kind of talking about how you need to roll up your sleeves and actually do a little hustling to
pound the pavement.
Yeah,
right?
pound the pavement
is what we call it.
Yeah. The power of reaching out. I think Susan always says, the broadcast only model is dead, right? You've got to go beyond just putting stuff out there. You've got to engage and interact and do all the work if you really do want conversions to happen.
You let me know if this is a fire hazard.
Yeah, I know, right? You're really going all in with the celebrating. You've got sparklers there.
Yeah, so there is a pound the pavement element. We talked about 5 steps in it. One of it was like really, really focusing on one person, whoever it is. It might be as narrow as I'm writing this for Will. The second part of it was like really getting into that, like go out there and keep talking to those people over and over again. I think the third part of it was really getting clear on your key messaging. And I was sharing about how when people say, so Susan, tell me about yourself, it's like all of my brains just leave my body, right? I lose the ability to say anything. So that's why the key messaging is really important.
Right.
And then what else did we have in there?
This is a good question. But the key message, I'll go to the key messaging. That's something we always like to do. We like to almost like have a few pat lines all planned out. So not that it seems canned, but you can tweak them depending on what you're talking to. But having some key messaging on what you want to say when you are interacting with people, or they ask you what you do or what you're about, or you want to promote something, having some different variations planned ahead of time makes it so much easier, especially if you're hesitant to step out of your comfort zone and start just randomly outreaching to people on LinkedIn and things like that. It gives you some confidence, right?
Showing some confidence. I remember one time we were talking to a client. I wonder if you remember, we won't name the client. One time we were talking to a client and we were like, you need to go out there and say more of those things that you do off the cuff to those people that you do on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And she's like, that's not off the cuff. I wrote it down. I spell checked it.
Yeah.
I had 3 versions of it. And then I copy pasted it. It took me an hour. And I was like, sometimes we tend to think it's easy. It's really not. Nothing's easy about this. You got to like pound the pavement using your words, Will.
Yeah. I think we also talked about the importance of showing personality when you are doing that.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah. So people now, especially, to cut the clutter, to get noticed, trust your personality, figure out a way to show it, whether it's through video, whether it's through you're just a funny person. Yeah.
Right. So that was the episode. Go listen to it. If it's, that's the gist of it, is that it's online conversions can happen as long as you're following a framework and really making that effort. And many of you who are in sales and stuff will already know that. But really practice that principle. But also, the reason we call this Thirsty Thursday is obviously twofold. Number one, it gives us permission to drink at 4 p.m. on a weekday. And number two, it's because we like to call out some thirsty people in the general digital space. Because obviously when people are putting themselves out there, saying the things, doing the things, some stuff's going to hit, some stuff's going to go wrong, right? So this week we have a couple of thirsty examples. Do you want to start, Will? What's too thirsty this week?
Well, I was going to talk about something that, the intention I assume was good, but ended up looking just like a big old grab to try to get build your list. It was poor little sweet Reese Witherspoon and her company, her clothing company. I can't remember the name of it.
Something Draper.
Yeah, some Draper James or something.
Draper
right?
James, yes.
They put out at the beginning of April saying, hey, we want to give teachers a free dress during COVID times. While supplies last.
Well, first of all, it's questionable. What do you need this dress for while you're wearing pajamas all day?
Yes. And so no surprise, they have a big reach. 1 million teachers submitted their information. They had to give their email and some personal information and some photos or whatever. Well, it came out later that they only had 250 dresses to give. And they had collected all this personal information from 1 million people. They weren't upfront really when they said supplies are limited. They weren't really clear.
How limited?
Yeah, and so now it's resulted in a class action lawsuit about gathering privacy information via trickery and everything. And it was people just hopping on quickly, wanting to do something good, but not thinking through everything fully, and obviously not being very clear up front. So she's facing some back. Oh, and then the worst is they said, 250 people will get it, and the rest of you, because you submitted your name, will get 30% off a dress of your choice.
Seriously, yeah. No, sometimes you've got to wonder what people are thinking. And I know that over the past 3 months, there's a couple times where we've advised people that please don't, for lack of better description, mix up your advertising and your editorial. If you're doing something good, just do it. And if you're trying to get some publicity, do that. Get the publicity organically. People come to you when you have a story. And once you have a story, you'll know. So don't Draper James it. Wendy had a couple comments. She gave us a name. Yes, thank you, Wendy. She also said we're all in sales. So true. We're all in sales. Helen's saying wow about the story. Okay, so I think pretty much all of us Thirsty Thursday stories this week are to do with crisis comms. So I have a thirsty call out. So I think what's way too thirsty this week is the people who are coming out with statements around the Blackout Tuesday and the Black Lives Matter movement. They're talking about it on Tuesday or whatever of this week and starting to make comments about last week. I'm like, that's for, too little too late, guys. If your team wasn't able to put together something relatively quickly to address it while you built a bigger message and keep people engaged, and if you suddenly put out a message 1.5 weeks after the thing, that's a little bit PR as opposed to genuine sentiment or value or whatever. So that to me is way too thirsty. So I saw a number of brands coming out between Monday and Wednesday this week with these long indulgent sort of statements around things. Nobody really cares. So let's kibosh it if you're coming out that late, right? So that's the first of the two thirsties. The second thing is what I'm going to call the 7-slider apology that a few of the influencers have been.
There's some influencer drama going on right now. If you guys don't know about it, just
If you're Canadian, you'll know there are some big names who are doing some some things.
There was some stuff. Let me just say, maybe someone has the last name Mulrooney. That's all I'm going to say.
I know. May or may not be Mulrooney.
Yeah. Google it.
So
Google
there are
it.
things, and that's not even, the sad part is it's not even an isolated incident, right? So there are people who are like, first of all, keeping quiet. Keeping quiet is fine. I understand it. If you don't know what to say, silence is always a great option. But if you do actually get called out by someone and like, why aren't you using your voice for greater good?
Right.
Then have some sort of like response prepared. Like, I can't tell you how many people we've told this week, call your comms team. This is when you need to be calling them if you have any type of comms contract, right? So people are coming out with these things that they're doing. Either they've been a brand that has been skewed entirely in the direction of, white people. And then suddenly you're like, here's all the Black friends I have, and here's all the Black creators. Disingenuous people. So a few people have been doing that, and a few people have been completely silent. So one story went a little bit pear-shaped. Go look on Instagram based on the clues we've given you. And you'll see that a lot of them respond to this by apologizing, because how do you not apologize for being a complete, idiot? Yeah. And when they apologize, they actually end up going in with like 7 slides of apologies. I'm sorry, but I did this for this reason. And here's what I think. And here are my future plans. This is not a business plan. This is an apology. Let's just get straight to the point. I'm sorry. Stop, right? So we've seen this from business influencers. We've seen this from the mayor. We've seen this from, lifestyle people. So that's kind of like too thirsty. Let's not do this. If you've only got a slider format for your comms, ditch that and just do a one-line apology for the moment. We've written apology letters for financial institutions for a very long time, in which we're like, whoopsie, sorry, Mr. Lamont, $57,000 of your money was unfortunately placed in this account. It will be put back at our earliest convenience. So we learned how to make apologies like that quite well. So really, just say, I'm sorry, and stop. So that's what's too thirsty this week. Don't be Reese Witherspoon. Don't be too little too late, and don't have the name Mulrooney today.
Yeah. The drama keeps unfolding. Seriously, it's been riveting.
I was so into lighting these candles, but it's a windy day and it's not happening. But happy birthday to the 4 a.m. report.
What is in the cup? What's in the little cup?
It's a marshmallow, Will.
Oh.
I didn't have any other sort of treat. And then, this is my great grandmother's teacup. They drank very little tea back then, didn't they?
Yeah. Andrea said, Andrea, you missed when we were talking about Reese Witherspoon. It was an unfortunate thing that started off with her wanting to give away dresses to teachers, but there were so many people that entered, and then we found out she had such a small amount when she had broadcast to the nation, and now she's in trouble. So if you Google it, you'll see. Although I swear to God, if Legally Blonde 3 comes out, I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm still going to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, do not announce a million dresses if you only have 250.
Yeah.
And thank you for all the wishes on the happy birthday. It's been a fun year. And thank you for coming with us on this journey.
Yeah, you rock too, Wendy.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Cheers. Bye, everybody. She does need better lawyers.